Hello everyone, we're back. And unfortunately, Superhero Enthusiast wasn't able to join us this week, but I'm sure he will come back at a later date. It's just going to be the two of us again, me, Magpie2541, and the man himself, bluedragonfive.
Hello.
Oh, sorry, that was toxic. Yeah, I think the biggest lesson to come out of this episode is do not make out with the boss's daughter. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, yeah, that's always a good lesson.
So, essentially, what we get here is the origin of Metamorpho. So
Rex Mason, yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't, as I said, I've said numerous times, I do not read the comics. So, do you believe that this is accurate to his origin, as far as that goes?
I would say, for the most part, yeah. But keep in mind, my main introduction, they use the same character, Simon Stagg and his daughter.
Mm.
So I mean, they are. That's why I like how they seeded Simon Stagg in since the first episode, because they intended to use this guy.
Yeah.
That was nice. It's always nice to have a few businessmen characters like Roland Daggett from Batman animated series, but they kind of made Simon Stagg that character.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the main introduction I had to Metamorpho is his first animated appearance with the Justice League show.
Oh.
It's a two-parter. It's Metamorpho, and basically John Stewart's friend, Rex Mason, his old war buddy. He's dating a Sapphire. I forget if her name is. I think her name's still Sapphire from that episode. He's in a relationship with the Sapphire Stag, and basically her father doesn't like it, and then an accident occurs led by the father. It transforms Mason into Metamorpho. Then he gets kind of jealous of. It's not the best episode, but it's not bad. He gets jealous of John Stewart, goes and attacks him, and then Simon Stagg becomes this monster by the end of it. Literally, with the same chemical turns him into a monster. That's that episode. I'm not too big on Metamorpho. I mean, knowledge-wise. I know him from that, and I know him from Beware the Batman.
And Batman Brave and the Bold.
Yes, Brave and the Bold also. Yeah, and Brave and the Bold, he was part of the Outsiders team, and he's known for that in the comics also. He was played a little younger in Brave and the Bold.
Well, I don't think it seems old in this. Initially I mistaken him for...
I mean, like
teenager.
In the... in Brave and the Bold, he's like a teenager on the group. I was curious how they're going to play him in this, because he had a few different interpretations, and in Justice League they really played him up, because John Stewart at the point when Superman was gone and hereafter, he recommended him to join him as like the seventh of the team.
Okay.
So
well, as far as this goes, this was, I think, this could be, in my opinion, one of the top contenders for the best episode so far.
I know.
This was great. I wasn't bored. It took me a while to watch it, but I was just like, picked it up and I watched it, and I was like, wow, this is definitely up there. I would highly recommend someone watch this, but I guess it loses points in your eye because no Gordon.
No.
But,
well, in all seriousness, I really did like this episode. It surprised me how much I liked this episode. I came in, I didn't have any expectations, because again, not a big Metamorpho guy, and I was curious how they were going to play him off, because he is a hero in the comics. Yet in this one, they say he's going to be a villain, so I was a little wary of I wonder what they're going to do with him. I really had no ties to it, just curious how. The Enthusiast is a fan of the Outsiders, so I was, I haven't talked to him yet. I'm going to find out how he only said he liked the episodes. I don't know how true it was, the character in his eyes, but this is a really great, in my opinion.
My one criticism with this episode is I knew who the real villain was, all the way through.
Well, I think it's a little obvious.
Because he's wearing the same outfit.
Well, I mean, you can
Except
tell
for a
like
mask.
the hand smashing the keyboard. It's Simon Stay. He always wears the same suit.
Yeah. But we don't get as much empty city syndrome in this. We've got a few cars and everything. So
yeah, I was glad to see that they fixed the empty city syndrome here. So I think, let me say this. I think this is really the since the last episode, Broken, and then on,
yeah.
It's Broken and then on, I'm getting the sense that the show's really starting to pick up and it's kind of found its niche.
Yeah.
You know, it's starting to, like Broken, this episode especially, it feels like classic Batman to me. It feels like a classic Batman tale.
Yeah.
And I really like that. And I like what they're going for. It's almost to the level, it feels like it's almost getting to that Batman the Animated Series level to me. With the storytelling. And I'm really impressed by that. You know, this episode to me, it felt like a combination of 3 Batman episodes from the animated series to me, in theme. It felt a little like, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, so tell me how you feel about this, Two-Face, Feeding Clay, and Heart of Ice.
Ooh.
I'm not saying it is Heart of Ice, I'm saying it has some things in common with those 3 stories. When I say Heart of Ice, hear me out. Heart of Ice in that it's how this one businessman has this one front on the outside and has really ruined a life. How this businessman kind of ruined everyone's life being a businessman. That's all I'm saying, is how that's all it has in common, and it kind of transforms someone through science. That's all it has in common with Heart of Ice, but particularly it's mostly Feet of Clay, transforming into a monster, and Two-Face looking for his humanity a bit. Well, I mean, Two-Face.
Yeah, I think they pick clearly. I think they've picked up those stories and took elements from them to put them into this, and it was really good.
The whole thing with the girlfriend reminded me of Grace from the Two-Face episode.
Yeah. She was elegantly designed too in this.
Oh yeah, I want to say this: the animation I think looks really good in this episode.
Yeah.
It'd have to be because the effects on Metamorpho, and they have the metals, well, all the different elements he's comprised of, the rock, some liquid metal. The gas looks great. The gas is effect, but you saw the smoke in the first episode, how well they did that effect. So the animation looked really good, especially on the girl. But it's for me.
Hey, I'm the ladies guy. I'm the one that drools all over.
I know that one's for you, Magpie. Just seeing how you react to that. But yeah, also they did something that's kind of a hard find in animation nowadays due to the censors, but it's starting to come back. He actually got some kissy face in this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well animated, by the way. Surprising. I was wondering how that was going to come across in the CG format. Because we got that with that one, not you, but the other Magpie episode. Secrets. Also, me being the Pixar fan, there was this little bit in the episode that kind of called out to me. In the opening, where he's chasing at first I thought was the generic thug from the first episode because he's dressed exactly like him.
Yeah.
The opening, at first I thought it was him when he's chasing this thug through the to the lab to a little chamber that creates Metamorpho.
Yeah.
You'll notice he goes by this really great environment that a fight takes place in later. This little red room with all these little pieces of metal in there.
Red room.
Yes. But what that red room is at Pixar they have that room, and it's really like a lot of technology. Companies that deal in technology. It's called a render farm. At Pixar, it's called a render farm. It's basically that's their software system that does all the work. So that's where all the rendering gets done in the hard drive.
Yeah.
That's where they keep the hard drive, and that's what that room is at Pixar. It reminded me of the render farm from Pixar. Render is what makes the lighting and the textures work, which, given the show CGI, it's kind of funny. Also, can I highlight the voice acting in this?
Yeah, who is it?
Adam Baldwin did a great job as Metamorpho.
Oh.
Not Alec, Adam, the brother.
Yeah, I know from
Superman Doomsday.
from Firefly. He's awesome in that.
He's played Superman in Superman Doomsday. He played Hal Jordan in the brief bit he had in Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah.
Good voice actor, him. And yeah, I thought he did a great job. Especially when he's talking like the Metamorpho without a nose.
Mm. I want to point out some great. It is definitely I think this is probably one of the best episodes so far. I know I've already said that, but it did take me back to those animated series episodes, the especially Feated Clay and Two-Face, because you could see that this guy, I don't think he's going to be a villain going all the way forward. I think eventually he's going to turn hero. But
that would be nice to see. I would like that.
Yeah, I think Batman might take exception to that. He's probably just going to chase him in the next episode. He's going to say, whoa. I learnt my lesson last time. I'm not going to be doing those things. I'm willing to serve my time or take take what's coming to me and everything. So I think maybe that's what's going to happen next time he shows up. But that's what I'm hoping. But I got the distinct impression this time, it's considering that he is going to be a hero, that he's part of the Outsiders, I imagine that he's going to start, they're going to form the Outsiders group in this show in some way, shape, or form, because, I mean, we'll have two Outsiders. How many are there? Actually, is it that they're like 3 or 4?
Well, you know how teams work in comics. There's always a different... They add to the roster and they take away, but the key ones are Katana, Metamorpho, and, well, I mean, in Brave and the Bold you had Black Lightning also, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. But
I'm not the guy to ask on Outsiders. I'm not a big fan of it. I mean, I'm not a huge... Batman on a team doesn't really always do it for me.
Yeah, Batman's better on his own. But, yeah, I just imagine that eventually we're going to... I mean, we're roughly at the halfway point now for the first season.
Well, actually, I wanted to retract that remark, because at one point I saw 13 episodes. Now it's kind of changed the question mark, so I don't know... I don't know exactly how many, but at most it can be 26. So it can be from 13 to 20 to 26 episodes.
Well, we're going to see.
We don't know it. I was expecting 13 to 20, so I don't know.
Well, yeah, I'm looking up the Outsiders now, but yeah, if this guy is going to be a hero, we're going to have to they're going to have to change it up. But yeah, so I imagine we're going to get some. We're going to have to. See, everything was so great in this. Like the story just flowed so great, and everything we're gonna. Well, it made me think. Well, it did make me think we're gonna get a great, at least a reoccurring character out of this guy. Yeah. Much more than like how much I did. I didn't particularly feel that with Anarchy, but with this one, I imagine we're going to... this guy, I do want to see come back.
It might be interesting to see if he had a progression like... went from sort of... follow me on this. Either a Clayface to a Two-Face to the hero that he is.
Yeah.
Kind of that, sympathetic... Instead of kind of rejecting Batman's offer to cure him, maybe he takes it, or something along those lines, because he can't really be cured. Otherwise, then where's the character? But a few things. I mentioned earlier that this reminded me of a classic Batman story, and I love that. Since Broken, we've been getting that. Let me explain why. It's the story of a man who... Batman's really... He's in this episode, but he's really not the main focus of this episode. It's this Rex Mason character. And we genuinely feel for this guy. And, you don't want him... He's that sympathetic character who he's a genuinely good man. And he's doing his job, 9-to-5 job. He's a character we care about. He's saying, I want I'm not sure we should be doing this without your father's consent, and she's kissing him at the workplace. And he was still saying, I want to do the respectful thing, get the father's blessing for relationship and such.
Yeah.
It's a story of this, the man becoming a monster and being reluctant about it and the outward appearance, and a lot of good stuff. You were saying?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what do you think of the missus in this? Because initially, I was like, well, she can't accept him for being who he is, but admittedly, that's a lot to take in. So I'm hoping that eventually she changes her mind and she does become kind of accept him for who he is. Sapphire, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was my thought. What do you think of Sapphire in this?
Yeah.
Apart from being very attractive.
Yes. I think about this. I have one gripe for this episode. It's that there's this really kind of, on her part, it's kind of a silly moment. He's being electrocuted by, of course, Bat Gadget. You have these kind of cattle prod-ish things, the kind of telescopic taser. Yeah. Tasers. And he's shocking Metamorpho in submission. And she touches his face, and then, science, she gets shocked, and I'll give it this.
The power of science.
Yes, it was I'll give you this. It was a good show of physics. How she was bolted against the window there. But the point is, something like that's going to happen if the guy's being shocked and you're touching him like that.
She definitely has her blonde moment in this.
Yeah, that's all. That's like my only real complaint. That's just a nitpick, but I'm just saying it's like Metamorpho has to get angry and has to get out of the room, and Batman has to do something. And it's not exactly a failing on Batman's part due to being early on the job. And again, we've been going over this back and forth, saying, from 2 to 3 years or 1 to months after the first year, something like that. But the point is, if I may transition here for a bit.
Yeah.
In regards to Batman, when I was watching this episode, I kept thinking in my head, when Batman did that, when he went to the place and he said, your father's behind this. And I was thinking, well, that's kind of a rookie mistake on Batman's part. Something that would be kind of like a first year on the job mistake. So you go there and you tell him that because he's gonna rampage and freak out and go attack the guy. And it's more you have to worry about. It's kind of a rookie mistake there for Batman. I don't know, is he going to learn from it and anything? But then at the end, my mind was blown with this great bit where that's Batman's plan. He planned it. He needed to bring him there, and he did. It was just, I love that. So such great storytelling. Yeah, and then there's this great scene where he's in Stag's office, which, by the way, Stag has a nice logo for his building.
Giant S.
Yeah, it was like this little nice comprised little money S symbol. Anyway, sorry. So he's at Science. Stag's going to his office, and walks in there. His chair's turned to the window and turns around. It's Batman in there. Which reminds me of Cape and Cow conspiracy. Only true fans will know what I mean by that. But anyway, so he turns around. And he says Batman's in control, and he says, "Metamorpho's come. Mason's coming after you." He says, "Wait, how do you know that?" Voiced by Jeff Bennett, by the way. Stag, good man, good voice.
Yeah.
He says, "Because I told him." He says, "What?" I'm luring him here. You're going to help me. I love that. Batman's just taking charge and taking names. It's great, And also there was this great sequence. I got to point out. I love this sequence in the render farm. I'm calling it the render farm. Little hard drive area where he's doing great detective work, by the way. That's the equivalent to what Captain Logan loves, but I can't blame him because I love it too. The classic Batman going through the file cabinets with the flashlight in his teeth.
Yeah.
It's kind of that moment, but it's kind of like the modern day equivalent. Him clicking on the going through the files. The point is he's going through files, and that's cool. That's detective work. And I love that. It's just, and then he's getting in there. We have a classic Batman scene. But again, this episode feels so much classic Batman. It's just great. And there's this great scene. It's Stag. He's using this machine gun, which I'll give it this: the guns didn't bother me in this episode because they work like Tommy guns or like just real guns. Even though they're still lasers and they're colored. Like if they were silver, I'd really have no problem with it at all. But the point is, he's using the gun. He's like going around, and Batman's like in the shadow. Well, no shadow because it's red. He's in the gaps, and he's like going through. He's like going from in and out from each rendering the hard drive.
Yeah.
Hard drive pillar.
Yeah, that scene actually reminded me of the first Blade movie where the villain's going through the vampire history thing. So
yeah, but yeah, it's just a great moment. Like he's interrogating Stag, and he's kind of playing mysterious while the gunman's there, and he's shooting around. And he's getting information. Great, but he's just saying he's exposition on the Metamorpho process. Why would we get a guy like this when it's all molded and melded of different elements? He's going to be manufactured as a soldier,
which I saw coming.
Yeah, I'll tell you this much. I don't see it as a problem, but it's just this thing I have to think about. Stag's plan was for revenge. Get rid of the guy her daughter's dating because he's not right for her. I say that it's not that's a problem. That's not a problem. The problem is that if he's trying to sell this, and this is like he's testing the process, won't they be able to track it to Stag that this monster came from him?
I think they're gonna. He's making it look a lot more like an accident.
Yeah, that's the thing. Even if it is an accident, that's not going to bode well for his company. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I think the people that are invested in the project know that it's not 100% yet.
Well, I mean, I'm saying it's not going to bode well for your company or just.
Oh yeah, I get what you mean. I get what you mean.
I'm saying I'm sure he's going to cover it up, being rich and all. And I'm sure that's why I have no problem with that. That's why I'm really not too bothered by it. He's probably just going to pay people off, and just legally he's going to have no connection to it, like Lex Luthor did with Superman.
My thing is, well, we weren't testing it on humans at the time. We weren't ready for human testing, and someone broke in and did this to one of our security guards. How bad is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's essentially. I think he could get around it.
Oh, by the way, speaking of the action scene, there's a lot of great comedy in this episode.
Yeah.
Well, there's some good comedy in this episode where he makes the date with Dr. Ravencroft.
Oh yeah.
As Batman in the Batsuit. This is something that Kevin Conroy did in the animated series. In the first episode on Leather Wings, he's like on the phone with Dr. March. He's like in the costume. We say, Alfred. He's phone, sir. Okay, patch me through. What's up, Doc? Something like that. And then he did that here. He's doing the detective work, going through the files, which again I love that. He gets the phone, and it's Ravencroft saying, I hope you're wearing. What are you wearing? Which in itself is hilarious. Reminded me of that question. Bit from Justice League Unlimited. Huntress asks what he's wearing. Orange socks. Anyway, so he's, I hope you're wearing your tuxedo. He's just saying, listen, I'll make it up to you some other time. He says, I'm busy right now. Saying, what? He says, what is it? What's wrong? He just hangs up on her. Just
sure.
Great bit, and of course there was some comment earlier on with there's this great bit after Metamorpho just breaks out, and he's like, in the now conveniently populated city, he's like throwing cars around and he's doing damage. Batman has Bruce has this great line to Alfred, who's wearing his bowler hat, by the way.
I love that. We get him in we get that guy in a
bowler hat.
We get Alfred in a bowler cap, which is awesome.
Yes.
That's great.
But yeah, there's this great line, "Please tell me you packed my bat suit."
Yeah. It's like, of course, sir. Don't leave home without it.
And they address. Oh, don't you ever quote that. I know you're quoting that from, but anyway, there's also they address that thing I've kind of brought up in previous episodes about how the creator said this Batman's really obsessive to the point where he blends his food. And they mentioned they're starting to address it more directly now. Like they showed, like, you know, Alfred says, "I blended your dinner, sir." And here he said, you know, we're gonna take in, what is it, like bovine, it's like bovine supplementers, glands, yeah. It's like bovine glands or something. And he says, I'm gonna blend this so I can get less sleep. Which, yeah, it's just showing how obsessive this guy is, and it's cool. Showing how driven as much as a detective he is. And how do you feel about Dr. Ravencroft, by the way? Do we like her? They brought her back.
Because she's a villain. She's a villain, so no, I don't like her.
Well, I mean, as a character.
As a character, well, I don't know enough about her yet to make that assessment. Right now, she's clearly a means to an end.
Did you see her becoming a bad guy? I mean, did you see it coming?
Kind of, but not throughout the episode. I thought that she was just chasing after him, but then I started thinking, well, hang on, she's gonna. I sort of saw it, saw it coming before it actually happened. I thought, she's gonna end up being part of this A society or whatever, anarchist society or whatever you mentioned to me. So I sort of saw that coming.
Yeah. Well, I was curious about that. I was thinking, I don't know, it's either Anarchy Society or she's with the League of Shadows. I mean, the League of Assassins.
Yeah.
So it's one of those two. I'm thinking, I'm kind of leaning more towards Anarchy Society. But I don't know. I think it would be great if it would tie into Anarchy's plans about, in the comics, how he had it out for the rich class, the rich society, and gotten rid of the social ranking and order. And if it, I don't know, it was like some sort of plot to kidnap Bruce Wayne to kind of show that. I think that could be cool if that was done for Anarchy, but it could be League of Shadows. For all this is out there, mind you, this is out there. But what if she turned out to be Talia? Yeah. Because I'm wondering, they haven't announced that Talia is going to be in this series. All we know is Shiva's going to be in this series.
We can imagine. I can imagine that happening, but
Chris
it depends.
Is a good voice for this character, by the way. I like her doing the voice.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, I just remembered one bit. Remember in that whole apartment scene where Batman confronts Metamorpho with the fact that Stag tried to kill him?
Yeah.
You'll notice when Metamorpho starts to attack him, Sapphire, the darling girl, she doesn't make any attempt to stop him from attacking him. She doesn't say, "Oh no, don't do it." I was expecting it. Nothing. Kill the bat is what she's thinking.
Kill the bat.
Yeah. Also, something I meant to mention last week. The creators, in addition to that, just showing Batman's detective skills and how obsessed this guy is with the lack of sleep and the blending the meals. Also, they kind of show his threshold for pain, like all the injuries he's sustaining. And we get some of that in here, like he's blown through a wall. Like, Metamorpho does this. Again, the animation in this episode is really great because Metamorpho's textures look great. The textures have been the strongest part of this show, animation-wise. They look great, and then the lightning effect looks really cool when that happens. He, out of his mouth, he kind of Dragon Ball Z style, he fires lightning blast Batman through the wall.
Yeah.
Batman gets put through the ringer, that guy. How did you feel about Metamorpho not being... I'm saying, we know he would transform back into it eventually. But how did you feel about there not being a cure? It's like Batman just saying, the cure didn't take.
I saw it coming because I know this guy was not going to just show up for this one episode, and that'd be it.
I was kind of expecting to be like the Creeper in the Creeper episode, where it's like this little patch, or like basically it's a temporary cure. That's what I was expecting, like, you know, the resurface, or maybe control it, or I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
That would have been a sucky way to end it.
Well, fine, being in control of it, definitely. But I don't know, maybe the temporary thing, like it comes back.
No.
All right, fair enough. Again, I'm not a big fan of the guy. Metamorpho. I mean, I can't speak. I was wondering if they're going to do, what exactly they're going to do different, because we're not confirmed for Outsiders, so we're just playing on speculation, folks.
Yeah, I'm expecting Outsiders to be formed.
Yeah.
And then I said I wanted them
the players
to
are there. We don't know what they're going to do.
Huh.
Exactly.
You don't just bring those characters in just to do nothing with them. So I imagine that there's something that's going to be done with them eventually.
Yeah.
Not right away, mind you. I'm expecting something afterward.
Yeah. Yeah.
After all, Adam Baldwin's killing time until Firefly comes back.
Indeed. Oh, by the way, what did you think of the sequence in which Metamorpho, he has Sapphire in his arms, he's entering the building to get Stag?
She mysteriously disappears out of his arms at one point.
Well, no, Batman grabs her out of his arms.
No, before that.
Well, what moment?
And he knocks down the door, and then she's not there, and then all of a sudden she is there. I think I've only watched it once, but I'm just saying for sure. She's not there for an instant. I think it happens, but yeah.
Also, I was wondering how you felt about him. Like, he's kind of knocking aside his security guard pals. I was thinking maybe he'd have a little more respect for those guys because he was a security guard.
Right now he's controlled by rage. I think all the rage is just coming out and it's just happening. But like I said, there's not much I can bitch about with this.
He had that great line during that confrontation, you didn't give me a chance.
Yeah, that's true.
We really like this guy. He's an average, he's a day in, day out average Joe. He goes to work, clocks out, he's in love with the boss's daughter. A genuine love. He wants to do the nice thing. He knows that maybe it's not the smartest thing, but he's in love. Then initially... Go ahead.
Can I just quickly? Yeah. This, when I first saw them making out at the beginning, I thought that was like, he's in love with her, but she's just doing this to get Daddy's attention. But as the episode went on, I started to realize, no, she was full on into it with him. But I don't think she was as into it as he was.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, she was in love with him, just not as much as he was with her.
I do think it's interesting the way this episode did end. It didn't end. It ended on a downer.
But it ended with the hand coming out of the water.
Well, yeah.
Which I saw coming a mile away. But it echoed that scene in 89 where the Joker's hand comes out of the thing.
Yeah.
It was the exact same look and everything. So, but that was cool. I love that. Well, that's one of my favorite visual cues.
Well, hey, look at it this way. Do you think he's... I know it's kind of ironic because we kind of had this discussion in the last episode, but do you think this is Metamorpho trying to commit suicide when he breaks that air pipe?
It's him getting away.
Are you sure? I mean, I know he is getting away, but he doesn't know that. He doesn't know how to work these things.
Making them think he's dead so he can get away.
Well, I mean, there's like that moment Batman saying no. He's probably just saying no. I don't know. For a moment, I was thinking
I could see it going your way, but I think he was just trying to get away. He was like running away.
I don't know. It's just that moment where Metamorpho, he's saying, after he has his whole, does this change anything between us? And then he basically, after that, he really has nothing left to live for. I kind of interpreted that he had nothing left to live for, and he was just like breaking the thing to be sucked out to God knows where. Like, he doesn't know where he's going to be, or if he's even going to be able to reform. Literally, reform.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
I think he knew.
I think maybe.
If I knew, I think he could have known. That's my...
Fair enough. I think it's up to interpretation, maybe. Like, it's kind of that moment, I guess it really made me say this because Batman says, no, but he's probably just saying no because he's going to escape. And keep in mind, Batman, as far as he knows it, Metamorpho is still in danger of, falling to pieces.
Mm.
I'm saying, because remember, I'm sorry, I should have mentioned this earlier. Again...
Good take, but I imagine he destabilized him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wanted to mention this earlier, yeah. Again, one of the things I really love about Batman is, he's so driven and dedicated to what he does, and he's saving the guy, even though he's, for these story purposes, he is kind of the bad guy. Not that he is a bad guy or actual bad guy, but the point is, he's going out of his way to save. He's really going to save this guy, Rex Mason, because he's a genuinely good guy. And he's doing everything in his power because he finds out, after that great bit of detective work in the Render farm, I'm calling it, he finds out his structural integrity is compromised because the project's unstable. He's not going to make it. And he says, I have to find him. That's why he tells Metamorpho so he can get there, and he says, we have to work fast. Because he's going to die. And I love that. It's just he's like giving Stag the business, saying, he's going to die if we don't help him. Along those lines, which I really, I just really love how that was Batman's real purpose for this episode. And I get the sense that if he did, in my mind, it's just like Batman doesn't know where this guy is, and it's kind of that sense of loss. And at the end, Batman has this moment where he's on the date and he's kind of saying, I was helping a friend, but I didn't help at all, really. I'm getting that sense of
which is
loss.
Right. Yeah, there's this tragedy behind this, which I like. I do like. I do.
Whether it's suicide or not, maybe it's just Batman saying it's a failure on his part, that he could have saved this guy. Maybe the guy's still not in good shape, from what we know. Maybe that second dose of Metamorpho maybe stabilized him. We don't know yet.
I imagine it has. I don't see this guy. I don't see this going any further.
Had to do something. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it had to do something.
I was kind of wishing there was kind of a line that said, okay, this will stabilize him, but it's not a cure. But you know what moment really got me going?
What?
There's this great moment in the episode. I keep saying there are so many great moments because there are. This moment at the end after he either committed suicide or just escaped. Point is, he escapes, and then Stag. This is that Heart of Ice moment I mentioned. This is the whole Heart of Ice embodiment right here. It's that Ferris Boyle is the humanitarian ending to Heart of Ice. It's where Stag is comforting his daughter, and she says, "You didn't care anything about him. You wanted him dead." It's the Batman, she says. And then, goes in the Stag's arms saying, "It's okay. I saw you murder him." And I was thinking, all these thoughts are going through my mind. I was thinking, oh man, is Batman going to be an outlaw now? Are we going to get that kind of Batman? And then I was thinking, well, of course, my instant reaction is like, you don't try to frame Batman. No. Batman's no killer. You don't call Batman a killer. You evil man, you. But then, I was thinking, like, many ways could go. Then Batman does this really great thing where he plays his security footage, and you find out, well, Stag does his own dirty work because he pushed the button that made Rex Mason into Metamorpho and takes off the mask. Yeah. And it's him.
Yeah, that was awesome. I love.
Yeah.
Well, it's all on his flash drive, and I've already sent it to Gotham PD.
Yeah.
Get your affairs in order. That's probably my favorite moment in the episode.
That
yeah.
is great, and it's kind of that moment of like, of course, all those thoughts go in mind. Is Batman going to be framed for murder? Because that'd be interesting, also. But this is even better. I mean, not even better. This is also great, where he just has that moment of saying, the fan of me is going, "Oh yeah, Batman is no killer. Take that, you're going down legally."
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
well.
That, and then it just took me back to the Heart of Ice moment, where after everything Freeze went through and Freeze is defeated, kind of like Metamorpho is in this episode. Like, he's not cured, it ends on a downer. He's vengeance! And Batman says, 2 lives are ruined in the process. Here's the proof. Good night, humanitarian. Oh, I love that. The Stag's like kind of dumbfounded in his face, and I don't feel bad for Stag, but I was like, wow, that's cool. That bad guy got what was coming to him. And really, the daughter runs away from him. Yeah, I mean, I'm not feeling bad for Stag. I'm just like saying, yeah, he got what he deserved. You know, he's like kind of now he's feeling how Mason felt, kind of alienated and alone, which is like a perfect comeuppance.
Yep.
You know, like good comeuppance. Anything else you can think of?
No. Cause this, like I said, this was a good episode. I get this one gets top marks from me. I think this is probably, if not the best episode, probably one of the top 3 at least so far.
Yeah, I'll give you.
Clearly has stepped up the game for this episode. It's clearly after they'd figured out what they were going to do, as far as the animation and everything comes. So this was great, and I've already mentioned my favorite moment. Do you want to get, if you want to give yours quickly, and then we'll wrap up.
Favorite moment. There are so many, but I guess, gun to my head, if I had to boil it down, if not that chair moment, it's going to be the render farm scene. You know, the scene where Batman's like in the shadows, you know, interrogating Stag after he did some great detective work. That's probably going to be my favorite moment of the episode.
Yeah.
If not that, then the ending. But I'm going to go with the render farm. Render farm sequence, and also just the connecting point. Again, the kind of clues to what's to come we got is that ending with the text message about Wayne is hooked, you know, awaiting further orders. So again, it might be a lead into Anarchy or a new villain for all we know, or League of Assassins.
Yeah,
so we'll see where that takes
was the guy.
And we got Ravenwood. Yeah. No, sorry, not Ravencroft back.
Yeah,
she was. So we'll see where it goes. So
yeah.
That would you say that about does it, friend?
That I think that does it for today.
Okay.
Tonight.
Okay. Well, remember everyone, this has been another great episode of Beware of the Batman discussions, and remember everyone out there, take this word of advice. Remember, beware the Batman.
Beware the Batman.